He is the chosen one. You must see it.
I gave Qui-Gon my word.
Is it the chosen one?
He is.
And it is the Jedi who will stand in the way of peace.
It's not whether or not we fight.
It's how we choose to fight that matters.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
The Force will be with you, always.
I will not be the last Jedi.
Hello and welcome to The World Between Worlds, a Star Wars podcast where we will be marathoning all of the canon content in the Star Wars universe. Right now we are on episode 5 where we will be discussing the Malevolence Arc from Clone Wars. That's season 1, episodes 2, 3, and 4. My name is Yates and I am joined by...
My name is Jordan.
My name is Yates.
My name is Jordan.
I've been Keats.
Past tense?
Yeah, past tense. I'm not him anymore, but... Hi, I'm Keats.
And guys, what are we here to talk about today?
The Malevolence Arc.
Malevolence Arc.
So, the Malevolence Arc is really one of the first arcs right out of the gate in Season 1 of the Clone Wars. We've sort of been going back a little bit and getting sort of these prequel episodes that help to flesh out the world. But, definitely this, outside of the film, feels like it's the grandest scope so far. And it's, a story about the Separatists that have developed a secret, super powerful weapon, not unlike the Death Star. I
get a Death Star vibe from it.
Yeah, there's definitely I think an intention to evoke that. I mean, there's one shot of like the
droids next to the laser beam. It's the exact same
shot of like the laser beam and the Death Star.
And that's when my eyes rolled back really hard.
And okay, sure, we're going to talk about this hardcore, I guess. But yeah, so it's a pretty straightforward, I think, stealth war story. After taking a break for a while, focusing on characters like Yoda and the clones, now we are back to the main characters. It's our first time since the theatrical film seeing Anakin, Ahsoka, and ObiWan together again. For the first time, in my opinion, I really think, even in the films as well, this arc was the first time I really felt like that the Separatists, or that even the droid army in and of itself, had like some weight to it and was like a little intimidating. And there were, consequences. It was a challenge. It presented challenges for the characters throughout the course of the film, and I mean throughout the course of the arc. And Jordan is really upset.
This happened yesterday.
I know.
God, yes.
But yeah, so I mean, the super weapon in and of itself, it's pretty straightforward. It's a gigantic bulk cruiser, which I thought, I think we all agree looked pretty cool. I like the design of it. I like that it looked basically like a city and like a gigantic fleet vessel.
I didn't really care about the ship design. I was more taken aback by the planet design in the background, making everything
red,
like a reddish hue.
Yeah, I thought that was really actually
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No.
It is kind of distracting.
It's so distracting, yeah.
I mean, I think the only time the hue actually came through, though, was when you're in the cockpit of the Separatist ship or the bridge, where, General Grievous is there, conniving, at the steer of the ship, and, there's this big red planet glowing on him. I thought that was cool.
Hand movements are so annoying. Like, everything's like, I'm a droid.
They can't see that droid.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, I was moving my hands, everyone. Just like General Grievous was.
They told me this ship was fast.
I love the Malevolence. As a kid, I wanted to design a Lego design for it.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking. I got like 2 pieces in, and I was like, this is too hard.
Wait, you mean like
I was trying
you were trying to build it with no blueprints.
I was trying to build it with like no blueprints, and then after 2 pieces, I was like, I'm done with this.
So overall, I like the Malevolence design a lot. I think it's probably more intimidating even than the Venator Star Destroyers. At least like how it's presented in this. I mean, it's huge and it's almost like a city. And, it's at the center is the gigantic ion cannon, which It's pretty simple, I guess, overall in theory. Like, just like, what's a weapon design that's not just a giant laser? It presents a tactical challenge to all the characters and is the setup for the great first episode of the arc. That's kind of like like a boilerplate suspense thriller type of deal where we get Jedi Master Plo Koon and his Wolfpack clone troopers trapped in an escape pod that has no power.
Wasn't it kind of like just a laser beam, though? I mean, it was a beam of light used as a weapon.
It was like you mean like visually? Yes, of course, it looked a lot like.
Well, I just mean like functionally.
Well, no, it was like an EMP. That's what it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like it's a light beam used that's weaponized. It's like the same thing, just for different intentions. Not like killing, just for the electronics. It kills the electronics.
Yeah, and like leaves them open. Like pretty much whenever it uses the ion cannon, immediately the ship is destroyed. Like it's like pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's just like defenseless. Like that scene of where all the ships just power off and they just see them like slowly float down and then they just get bombarded and destroyed. It's pretty intense for like a kid's show, I guess.
Yeah, I mean they face death pretty hard on.
Yeah, and you see like two like when they cut the window open of the escape pod when they're hunting them down, you just see them like get sucked into space and like, oh my god, we're dying.
Yeah,
I was like, this is intense for a kid's show.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, and that's I think one reason that I think in this is the first time I think the Separatists have posed like a real like threat, or at least they felt like a real threat in the episode. I thought the whole idea, just that the droids are going around killing all the survivors in the escape pods, I thought that was effective.
Pod 1977, do you copy?
The droids are hunting for survivors. They're cutting through.
There they go. Things just got a lot worse.
So those hunter droids.
Yeah, sure. You mean the droids that like clamped onto the escape pod and like
Yeah, and cut them out. They were like sinister, but had that like goofiness to them because like when it's like cutting it open, it's just like the droids just like dancing like do 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 like I'm gonna kill these people, and I was like, this is like one extreme to the other. I don't know, I really liked it. Like usually droids are stupid and I don't feel threatened by them, but these ones felt threatening but stupid at the same time.
It's the perfect balance.
It was the perfect balance.
Of course, we've got total badass in the form of Plo Koon, so they got away. Keith, you want to talk a bit about Plo and Plo's bros?
Sure, Plo and Plo's bros. So Plo was actually, he was in most of these episodes. He was in the final episode, correct?
He was in all three. But he was definitely prominently in the first one.
Yeah, like Plo Koon that's his episode. It's the first episode, and that's in my opinion like the best of the three. It's like it's the smartest. It's the most original. The whole episode is Plo Koon trying to survive with his clones in the middle of space with no hope of being rescued.
Much like we saw in Yoda, the previous episode, is Plo Koon going out of his way to make sure that his troops understand that. I mean, I think he says pretty directly, like, your lives are precious to me.
With all due respect, General, strategically, it doesn't make any sense for someone to come look for us. If I was in command, I'd be hunting that weapon down.
I value your life more than finding that weapon.
His whole thing, I think it's less than him making out alive, or them finding the Malevolence ship or getting any sort of comeuppance whatsoever. His thing is like, oh, I have a responsibility to these clones to get them out safe, and that's exactly what he does. I mean, I think Plo Koon's really cool. And of course, a huge reveal is that the whole reason they managed to get saved is because Ahsoka has a connection to Plo Koon. Plo Koon was the one that found Ahsoka and brought her into the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting connection just between the two characters. It gives us more light on Ahsoka, on her backstory, and Plo Koon as well. I just want to know more about Plo Koon because I feel like he's the most mysterious of all the Jedi that we know are associated with so far. He paves his own path. That's all I really know about Plo Koon right now. Mm-hmm. We get to see a Jedi fight in space. That's something we've never seen before. We will probably never get the chance to see ever again.
It looked so sick, though.
It looks so sick.
Like when he turned the lightsaber on, he's just standing on the pod.
Mm-hmm. I guess we can assume that Plo Koon has he doesn't need oxygen to survive.
Or it's in his face mask, I think.
Oh yeah, because he breathes in a special gas, right?
He said he can survive the pressure for like a small amount of time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, presumably, yeah, it's unclear. I mean, I think that's always a question whenever someone like has like a mask or anything. I mean, I think in the original Star Wars, like everyone just assumed like, oh, Darth Vader has a mask so he can walk around in space, or like the Stormtroopers have helmets so they can walk around in space. And the answer is not really, but I guess the clone troopers were able to breathe in space, and Plo Koon were able to breathe in space in this. So clearly, that is something that's important, but we just don't really see it too much.
Yeah.
I feel like that sucks though.
What, being able to breathe in space?
Like with a helmet, because
well, yeah,
like when you get sucked away in the vacuum, you're still alive, but you're just being sucked away into nothing. So you're just gonna have to kill yourself by taking your helmet off. Because I would rather not. I don't want to be trapped in space. Like being able to breathe, but just like floating endlessly.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I don't think they would have gone out there, like unless they had the company of a Jedi next to them. Because we see that Plo Koon uses his force powers to guide them wherever he wants them to go. Like if he wants them to go away from the ship, he'll just force push them towards his trajectory. Really cool, interesting tactical moves for the Jedi Plo Koon to use. We haven't seen this before. Since the beginning of Clone Wars till now, I've always thought, oh wow, so this is like the Clone Wars. This is the war about the clones. And then like once we get to the next episode, we reach like more of the Jedi's perspective, and that's when you're like, oh, this is Star Wars, the Clone Wars. It's about more than just the troopers. It's also about the Jedi as well. Because, you had Anakin and Ahsoka in the movie, but, we were more than just a little bit introduced to Captain Rex and, the rest of the troopers that we know.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I do think but it was definitely Anakin.
It was definitely Anakin's,
story.
Anakin's super reckless.
Yeah, Anakin sort of goes through, I think, like a bit of a trial by fire in this.
He still has a lot to learn, and what's that basic quote, like the teacher learns from their apprentice? He learns a valuable lesson from Ahsoka. She's like, Master, you can make it, but not everyone else can. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, not everyone's as skilled in flying as I am. Yeah, I need to think about my team.
I thought, like, in terms of an Anakin arc, I thought the first episode was really interesting because it starts off with Anakin and Ahsoka getting the briefing that Plo Koon's ship has been shot down, and, they're pretty much expressly told by the Jedi not to pursue a rescue mission or anything. Ahsoka from the beginning is like, no, we gotta save Plo Koon, and you even get that moment where Yoda's like, oh man, what did I do putting Ahsoka and Anakin together, which I thought was cool. But Anakin is the one that ultimately really sticks his neck out, and like he has a line, lives are in danger, we can't just turn our backs, and he disobeys the Jedi Council and takes Ahsoka with him out to find Plo Koon, who's a character we don't even like really have that, like Anakin and Plo Koon are friends. I don't know, not really. So it's really just Anakin just going out of his way to do something good, and I
mean, he is on the Jedi Council. He's pretty important.
Yeah, but I mean, just in terms of like we don't have a basis. Yeah, we as an audience don't have a basis for understanding if Anakin and Plo Koon have a relationship. So from the audience perspective, Anakin is going out on a limb to go just help Plo Koon because it's the right thing to do. In terms of, like, making leaps from the character in Attack of the Clones...
Like, I feel like Clone Wars Anakin and Attack of Clones Anakin, I don't really see it as, like, the same character, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's so different. Like, watching the Clone Wars, I see more of Episode 1 Anakin in the Clone Wars more than anything.
In what way?
Spinning is a good trick.
Anakin, you're crazy. Spinning is not flying.
But it's a good trick.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. He just seems more like more childish.
Seems
and
more
always,
humane.
Yeah, more humane. Wants to like help everyone. He's just not like this.
He's a lot less angsty
and thirsty.
And thirsty.
Yeah. Well, I guess because he already got the girl.
In terms of like making leaps from the character in Attack of the Clones, I see enough connective tissue that it works for me. And this feels like, this is like a step in a different direction for Anakin than Attack of the Clones. Because even in Attack of the Clones, there's like, when they are told that Obi-Wan's in danger, Anakin's like, well, I'm grounded. Like, my rules are I gotta stay here. And Padme is the one that ends up forcing Anakin to go. And Anakin kind of does the same thing here, where he's like, Ahsoka, we're going. Like, don't worry, we got this. We're going to save Plo Koon.
Yeah, it's definitely like a sign of growth, just showing like how he's evolved as a Padawan to a Jedi Knight. Because like I feel like he probably, if in Attack of the Clones, if he had more pull as a Jedi Knight, he probably would have gone out of his way to go against orders. But you know, he's a Padawan; he has no say in anything. Just like how Ahsoka wants to help Plo Koon in this situation, but doesn't have enough authority as a Padawan to go out and do it herself. So,
right. I got an Obi-Wan Anakin vibe with Anakin and Ahsoka when he was like reprimanding her.
Ahsoka!
If anyone could survive, Master Plo could. I don't understand why.
What you don't understand is Jedi protocol, or your place, my young Padawan.
Yeah,
During, like, it literally reminded me of Attack of the Clones, like when Anakin interrupted the conversation that Obi-Wan was having with Padme, where he was like, "We'll find the killer," and then Obi-Wan's like, "Dude, chill, that's not the orders." Like,
yeah,
and then like,
we know you're thirsty.
Yeah, or like when he's like reprimanding him before they go into the bar, Anakin does the same thing to Ahsoka. So you see how like Obi-Wan rubbed off on Anakin, but he still has like his own personality where he's like they end up doing it anyway. And
it's a generational thing from Padawan to Master.
And I really liked the moment where they cut to Obi-Wan and like Obi-Wan's just like, "Oh, so Anakin, you went and got to save everyone anyway, huh? All right, what's the update?" Like
yeah, it doesn't even faze him.
Yeah, I thought that was really cute. And I think even was there a line where Obi-Wan says like if you taught I'm thinking of the Clone Wars theatrical film. Never mind.
There's a moment in the episode in the Christophsis arc where Anakin is piloting the ship against orders from Obi-Wan, and I guess we can assume as an audience that's like because that is like the first on-screen defiance act that we see Anakin do from Obi-Wan, where he actually like turns off the communications with Obi-Wan. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I think so. In the Cat and Mouse episode, the first one.
Yeah, in the ship one. So I think as an audience we can expect that's like maybe the first time Anakin defies orders against Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
So now that, you know, like you were saying about Obi-Wan being like, "Oh, you saved everyone, that's great," we can like probably assume that's because he trusts him to a certain degree now, more than he has before.
Anakin's a good guy. He takes charge, he takes action, and everyone appreciates that and looks up to him, because I feel like not a lot of people have the mental strength to do that.
You mean Anakin?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Anakin has a relationship with his clones that's probably a little different than a lot of the other Jedi or that we see. Even Plo Koon, like Anakin's almost feels more like a soldier than like a Jedi, like in this setting.
I feel like I relate to him a lot.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like that reckless and a desire to win. I think is like really big with Anakin, and it shows in his plan too. That's like, you know, not as perhaps well thought out as it should be, and relying more on his gutsiness. And even Plo Koon later even says like, "Oh, Anakin, searching for adventure," a lot like how Yoda says in the original trilogy.
And they're all down with it too. They're like, "Yeah, we'll follow you anywhere, Master Skywalker." Yeah, he sucks at making plans. At one point, Obi-Wan like calls him out. "So your plan is to just fly there and hope they don't see us?" And he's like, "Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much."
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that, and for Anakin's arc, clearly Plo Koon is raising some reasonable concerns, and even Ahsoka is on Plo Koon's side on this, and Anakin is still sort of not willing to hear it. So in the second episode, there's a section where Anakin and Rex, or not even Rex, it's just another clone battalion, they all hop in Y-Wings, which is cool to see them there, and they go through a nebula, and we see space creatures.
Angry Mantis.
Angry Mantis?
Yeah, okay, well, so what happens is Anakin talks about this secret, the special shortcut to get to the General Grievous' escape route, to get to the medical frigate.
Right.
And so they cut through this space nebula, and then he talks about it's this old route that smugglers used to talk about on the channels back on Tatooine, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
In this episode, we get pretty much a direct parallel to the ending of A New Hope with the Y-Wings and this Death Star prototype. It's not a Death Star, but, it symbolizes the Death Star pretty heavily. I know you guys didn't really mind it. I thought it was pretty bland and uninspired.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know. It was cool. It like shut off all the electronics and the engines and stuff.
I liked like
leaves them helpless.
I like the set a lot more as far as like the characters that we have here compared to like the gold leaders that we have in A New Hope, just because those are a lot more like disposable, and these troopers who are meant to be expendable are like completely involved with how they live and how they die.
For me, I think the whole appeal of the Clone Wars show is kind of like this serialized storytelling, and I think it's definitely sort of a throwback to that, and I don't think it's a bad thing that there's just an episode where it's, a straightforward, like, war, submarine World War II type of story. I liked it. I
like submarine World War II stuff.
But I liked that it called back to A New Hope too. I liked the history of like just the Y-Wings used to look different, and the ones in the original trilogy are sort of been beaten up over time.
Yeah,
and they were
sense.
originally these Republic sort of more prestigious ships, and I like the way they looked and everything.
Yeah, we got like this Republic Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
So. I want to talk about like how each episode is like a different genre. And how, I don't know, it feels great because we get something different each episode. Like, the first episode's like a survival episode, and then we get just like a war story, and then the third episode is just straight up Star Wars.
So that plays into the last episode then, where essentially, and I really wasn't expecting it to go this route, Anakin has the victory that he was looking for, General Grievous is on the run, and of course, Padme shows up out of nowhere and is kidnapped.
We're approaching the system now.
My goodness!
Although it's not out of nowhere, it's implied that, there's some machinations there. It was a trap. But Padme arrives out of nowhere, and it's really the first time we've seen her since the Zero the Hutt arc. And she is taken by General Grievous. Of course, General Grievous, incompetent as he is, can't even get Padme. So Padme isn't a total damsel in distress because she's never actually caught. She's just taken in the tractor beam. But that's essentially her role here, is that she's just captured for Anakin to stop the pursuit and break into the ship and rescue her, which is kind of the whole thing from the end of Attack of the Clones too, where the second Padme is in trouble, Anakin's willing to just drop everything and
that was
go
something
and save her.
That was something I wrote down was even like surrounded by like troopers and Imperials and ObiWan, he just refuses to call her Queen Amidala.
Thank you. Oh my god, I was gonna say it just makes it so sus. Like he's just like Padme. Oh my god, Padme. Like everyone's calling her Senator Amidala. Like,
this is my number, Padme.
Yeah, he needs to chill.
I really liked General Grievous in this episode.
I did too. He looks sick with a cape.
I did not.
And also General Grievous this is our first introduction to him. We literally see him for 5 seconds in the Clone Wars theatrical film, and I believe one establishing shot, and that's it. And then this is our first time seeing him. I definitely, as a fan of the character overall, I really liked his portrayal here. I liked that he was sort of a stock war general character.
What's taking so long? I want to get there before too many wounded clones escape.
Sorry, sir.
I also like General Grievous's reaction over the beginning. The first episode is like General Grievous on top of his game, and then the second episode is General Grievous sort of anxious about potentially losing, but ready to destroy the medical frigate. And then the last episode, General Grievous is just pissed because the ship is being destroyed. And
he hangs up on Count Dooku and then just dips.
He hangs up on Count Dooku, which I thought was so awesome.
Count Dooku looks so confused.
Yeah, I think the droid was like, I think he just hang up on you. What?
Yeah, I guess it's not common for people to be hung up on in Star Wars. But yeah, I thought that was really funny.
That was great.
Yeah, there's a whole arc to the battle over the 3 episodes.
It's like the third act though.
Yeah,
that's why I was kind of bummed, because I was really built up with all these new clones and with Plo Koon, and they're all in these ships and they're going through space and they're angry Mantis, and then it ends with something I already know. So.
Plo Koon doesn't even do anything with it in a ship. We don't even get to see him do anything.
No, that's why I was like...
he's the one who's
I was confused why
we gotta get out of here, and then that's it. He doesn't do anything.
That's why I was confused when you guys were hyped for Plo Koon, because I was just it's just Plo Koon.
Well, Plo Koon's whole thing...
No, we were hyped about the way his ship looks. His ship just looks cool.
But isn't it just a blue paint job?
Bro, it has stripes. It looks sick. It's a really good paint job. It's not like it's just blue. Then I'd be like, oh, blue Jedi Starfighter.
But do we even get a close-up?
No, and they don't need to do a close-up.
Then why? How do you know it looks cool?
Because we got 2 eyes and a heart full of love for Star Wars.
I love Plo Koon. I love the prequels. I love the Clone Wars. Flew into a moon.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, that was so insane.
Was that was? Oh yeah, the Malevolence. That's how they took it down. That's right.
Set the course straight to the moon.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
So just to wrap up my feelings on this arc, this is probably like the least entertaining arc that I think we've come across so far. Like, I enjoyed Attack of the Clones more than I think I enjoyed this movie.
It's not a movie. I'm the only one who's aware that we're not watching movies.
Star Wars is only movies. Star Wars is only movies. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I would definitely want to watch this over Attack of the Clones.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, it's shorter. I don't know. I liked all the characters in it, whereas like in Attack of the Clones, I'm just cringing half of the time, just like wanting to like shut my eyes and shut my ears.
I just really like all the new stuff in Attack of the Clones, and then here it just felt like a lot of the same.
For me, I liked it. Comparing this to Attack of the Clones is weird. I don't think it's like it's.
I was just saying
they're both too different.
I was just saying I'd watch that over this because that's so far like as a joke like the one I've hated the most, the one I've fallen asleep. I almost fell asleep to.
Right, yeah. So, okay, yeah, I hear you. I think, I'm not sure which one I would find more entertaining, but, like, I liked seeing the Separatists as, like, a legitimate threat and the wheels being turning on their evil schemes. I liked it. I had fun with it.
Yeah, they were, like, really desperate to, like, find the superweapon in, like, the first episode.
Yeah, I mean,
they're like, we gotta find it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, what's happening in those moments is important, but, you know, it's just a step towards the future for the story of the war.
So, like, how do the Separatists take systems? They just invade. They don't, like, try to...
They invade and occupy.
Invade and occupy?
Well, sometimes. I think it's kind of vague. Well, in the episode from last week, there is the allusion to the Separatist Senate. So there is, like, a law and order to the Separatists. Do Count Dooku and General Grievous follow those laws? Probably not. But
Ventress, no.
Yeah, no, probably not. But there, you know, there is like some sort of order to it, and I think at least the original Separatist planets, which would be like, well, I guess not Cadden and Mordia because the Trade Federation is like still
neutral.
Yeah, neutral.
I feel like they're just so sloppy. Mm-hmm. Like they're just destroying everyone and everything. Like. And if they want people to join them...
Well, I think...
Then they shouldn't do that.
In Attack the Clones, it establishes that the Separatists over the Republic really have, like... They have the allegiance of, like, the elite, sort of, like, international companies, which is, like, the Trade Federation, the Banking Clan, yeah. The Techno-Union Army, all of them are, all these sort of large institutions are on the side of the Separatists. So you can kind of look at it as like the Separatists almost don't need to play nice because they already have a winning hand, except that they don't have the Jedi, which is like a huge problem. All they have is Count Dooku, Asajj Ventress, and General Grievous, and really only Count Dooku is the only one worth his salt. Is that a phrase? Worth of salt?
Worth his salt? I've never heard that.
No.
And with that, I think we're going to leave off for today. We look forward to lots of things in life. One of those things would be
the next episode that we get
to watch, which is the Clone Wars Season 1, Episode 5, 6, and 7. That is Rookies, Downfall of a Droid, and Duel of the Droids. I believe it's our first droid arc coming up next week.
Thank goodness. I need a good Star Wars Clone Wars to watch. I love the droid episodes. I'm not being sarcastic. I actually really like the droid episodes. I hate them.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot to talk about, including C-3PO and R2-D2, who I don't think we've mentioned once all 5 episodes so far. So get ready, guys, next week. This is Yates.
Jordan.
I've been Keats.
Signing off.
Jordan.
May the Force be with you.